Okay, let's get started. And nice to see all of you guys back again. And okay, so let's just settle. Many of you are sitting on a chair. Some of you are sitting cross-legged. But for those people sitting on a chair, just bring your attention down to your feet. Have them in a parallel position. This is a really good, a really good way to ground yourself. If you when we get up into our heads, we tend to get blown around a little bit. And when we're ungrounded, we're not always making the best decisions about things. So try and bring your attention down to the soles of the feet and have your feet and knees about a hip's width apart and be sitting on top of your sits bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up to the crown of the head. And beyond. And just remember to breathe. And this is our practice prior to bed. If it's possible to make it one of the last things you do before you go to bed, and that includes getting on your devices, might be helpful. For those of you on the East Coast, I know it's much easier. So bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the mouth and the jaw, back of the head, neck, shoulders. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And as you're breathing in and out, just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then just be aware of sounds in your environment. So some of you have pets there and some of you have family in your house. Maybe there's street sounds outside or dogs barking, people talking. So just allow all those sounds to just fade into the background. Try not to follow them. Just allow them. They're there. So it's like you can change your focus and then just notice what's arising in the mind. What kind of bubbles are arising? What thought bubbles are arising? Do you have some habitual thought patterns arising here? And if you do, just tell yourself it is okay. Try not to judge the thoughts that are arising. Just notice what's there and try and put some space in between your thoughts. so they don't kind of overwhelm you. And then you can put them in a little bubble, a helium balloon, and just let that balloon go. And it's just an image to try and help us create some space in between the thoughts. It sort of takes the edge off. If you have some thoughts that are generating some emotion. And then bring to mind some people of your life. So these can be, let's start with our friends, these ones we really love so much. Family and spouses and children and our dear ones. You know, we see their photo and we smile. It makes us happy. We hear their voice. These are the ones, you know, you answer the phone immediately, you see that call coming through. And then there's those people in our life who we don't feel so comfortable with. We have a little bit of aversion for them. Ranges from a lot of aversion to just we find them irritating. And then we have our strangers, and they can all change place at any time. Because the life we lead, this world we're in, is mainly impermanent. Everything's in constant motion. And it's subtle. It's not always obvious. And all these people, they're equal, despite how we feel about them at any particular time. They all have this wish to be happy and this wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And so we purify applying the 4 opponent powers. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from the present suffering we don't want it. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think I'm sick of suffering. And then what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we're relying upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, rather than a God, with a higher power or a higher power of some kind. So we just see him as a doctor who has methods that we can use to purify. So you imagine this Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So here's our Vajrasattva. So something similar to this. This is a painting on canvas. So the Vajrasattva above the crown of your head is a light body, hologram, radiating light. So, and we think sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. Has a beautiful radiant face and long eyes shaped like lotus petals, and peaceful and full of love and compassion. Sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell. This represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra. which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and they're crossed. And this represents enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here on compassion. It's also under this section of reliance. It's a subheading under reliance. And because we need to rely upon other beings in order to develop compassion, those beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So we develop a wish for them to be free from suffering. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. You can also imagine something as powerful as Niagara Falls, or maybe you have a waterfall locally near you. So you imagine that kind of force pouring into the crown of your head, fills your entire body, and it keeps pouring into you until it pushes out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Guru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya satva a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya satva a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya satva a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyata sawa Kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru hum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya satva a hum te. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of the speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified. And just imagine it's not possible to harm anyone with that speech, but to only benefit. And next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you switch on a light in a dark room. That light dispels the darkness. So just imagine light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and instantly all the darkness of the negativity of the mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Ambajasapa Samaya Manupalaya Bajasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Ambajasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space now in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely, and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So really imagine that, really want that. And next is the power of resolve. And this is where we just, make a determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind, including ourselves. And we need to make a decision for that to happen. We've got to decide. Nothing happens without a decision. So think of something you'd like to work on. Maybe it's your speech. Maybe it's eating too much sugar. Whatever it is. Think about just, even if you just think about trying to refrain from it, that's a step. And don't forget to rejoice in your efforts. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness to help seal the merit. I do not know exactly how that works, but I'm at this point, until I have clairvoyance, I will just take the advice. So we'd say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, just place it there for a moment. So in this way, we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And tonight, Hin, you're so generous in sharing with us everything that's going on with you. I appreciate it so much because it's very private and it's very personal, but you seem to be very happy to let everybody know. So we all really appreciate that. Thank you so much for including us in your journey. It's very beautiful. So please have a good sleep. Take care. We dedicate this practice for you, my friend, and lots of love. Tomorrow morning, I'd like to do a meditation on Chenrezig. So I feel lots of love coming out from Hin's heart and lots of love going towards her. So we'll do it for Hin, whether you're here or not. Hin, doesn't matter. And everybody else, please have a good sleep tonight. Take care. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 6:30 our time.